Right.
So the next question we have is, I am super embarrassed by things I've done a few years ago, and I just can't get over it and let it go, even if no one else seems to remember it. What can I do?
This is not an easy issue because it is a question of how much regret is enough regret, and how much can we, how easily can we say, enough, I have to get on with my life. And I think that it comes down to the whole issue of how much do we actually believe in purification, that something actually can be purified. That also is a weird word. It's not that you make something which is dirty clean, like putting it in the laundry and now it's purified, but basically to counteract the negative consequences in terms of other people and in terms of ourselves. One of the important points, I think, is to apologize. Even if the person that there are different types of mistakes that we could have made. We could have done something which hurt somebody else, or we could have made a mistake by making a bad investment in the stock market and we lost a lot of money. So when it has to do with what has affected others, then I think it's very important to apologize, even if the person has passed away already, or it's totally impossible to reach them, at least in our minds, to apologize, ask for their understanding, realize that what I did was a mistake. And we're all human, we all make mistakes. I was under the influence of, some sort of disturbing emotion or confusion or whatever. And I think that this helps to resolve what we have been doing. But habits are very, very strong. And so when we are in the habit of going over and over again what I did, now if it goes into the direction of guilt, then I'm a bad person, what I did was so bad, and then you grasp onto that as your solid identity, and that you have to let go of. So sometimes I use the analogy of, the garbage, to just say the garbage stinks, I made such a mess and so on. Well, throw the garbage out, enough about dwelling on how awful it is and what a mess I made. So it's a slow process, but even later in life we think back and I regret everything that I did. I mean, especially even at the time of death, I think it is very helpful to not feel guilty and, I'm going to go to hell, but to purify oneself. I mean, from the Buddhist point of view, at the time of, near your death, you take self-initiation to retake the bodhisattva vows, to refresh your tantric vows. Well, what's all that about? That is, if I have made any mistakes, if there's anything that I've done wrong, to reaffirm once more that I regret this and I, sincerely have the strong intention to try my best not to repeat. So I think this is the way.
But the question was actually more about just feeling embarrassed, not so much about guilt or regret, but what can you do when, for instance, you feel like you've done something stupid? Not that it harmed anyone. It didn't, for instance, harm, you might have just in public said something stupid. It didn't harm anyone, but you are so embarrassed. You think that everyone remembers it, although they probably don't, but you can't let go of that embarrassment.
Well, again, you brought up the exact point. Most people don't care. We tend to think that we're so important that everybody is looking at us. Oh, your shirt was unbuttoned, or I remember just very recently I went to a formal Thanksgiving dinner. And where everybody is wearing a jacket and tie, and I walked out and I forgot to put my jacket on, my suit jacket on. And so I arrive at this place, I take off my winter coat, and there I am just with a shirt and tie and no jacket, and everybody else is, dressed formally. So you feel embarrassed, but actually nobody cares. And so I think this is the important point to try to remember, that we are not the center of attention. We are not, nobody is looking at us. I mean, this is the teenager's fantasy, that everybody's going to see my blemishes and like that. But we're not so important. And I think that this is an important thing to do. And everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And also we can think that, if we look at our life like a movie, then the movie is going on, scene to scene to scene. And we don't, if you just freeze it at one point and make it into a still photograph, well, the light in the projector is going to burn the film. So life, is not a series of still photographs, but things go on. And so you have to let go. We did something embarrassing. Well, that happens.
That's it. So thank you so much, Dr. Berzin. That's the end of our AMA this time. If our viewers have any...
An AMA is not American Medical Association. Remember, it's Ask Me Anything.
It's the end of our Ask Me Anything with Dr. Berzin this time. Don't forget that if you do have questions you'd like to ask, send them in.
Please do. My pleasure. Bye.